Hello, dear one. Come in. The kettle just boiled, and we've made your favorite spot cozy. Henry's been quiet today, thinking about something I think many of us struggle with. We're so glad you're here to talk about it with us.
Hey, yeah, hi. Thanks for being here. I've been avoiding something, and I've been thinking about why. Why I do this, why I keep putting things off, even when I know I shouldn't.
Procrastination, that heavy word for something we all do. That thing where we know what we need to do, but we just don't do it.
Exactly. And I've been really hard on myself about it lately.
I can see that, Henry. Your shoulders look tense. Do you want to share what's been happening?
Yeah, I think I need to. So there's this project I've been meaning to start. It's not even that complicated. I need to organize some files on my computer, sort through old documents, delete things I don't need, create a better system. It would probably take 3 hours, maybe 4, that's all.
That sounds manageable.
It is manageable. That's what makes it so frustrating. Because I've been telling myself I'll do it for 3 weeks now. 3 weeks, Daisy. Every morning I wake up and think, today. I'll do it today. And then the day passes, and I've done everything except that.
What do you do instead?
Everything. Anything. I clean things that don't need cleaning. I watch videos online. I reorganize my bookshelf even though it was already organized. Yesterday, I spent an hour researching the best way to organize files instead of just organizing them. It's like my brain will do anything except the actual thing I need to do.
Softly. And how does that make you feel?
Quietly. Terrible. Like I'm broken somehow. Like I lack discipline or willpower or something. I see other people just doing things, you know? They need to do something and they just do it. But me? I avoid it. I procrastinate. And then I feel guilty. And the guilt makes it even harder to start. And it becomes this cycle.
Oh, Henry, that sounds exhausting.
It is. And the worst part? I know the task isn't even hard. I know once I start, it'll be fine, maybe even satisfying. But I can't seem to make myself begin. There's this wall, this invisible barrier between me and starting, and I don't understand why it's there.
Can I tell you something, Henry?
Please, I need to understand this.
First, I want you to know that you're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not lacking in discipline or willpower. Procrastination isn't a character flaw. It's not about being bad or weak. It's actually something much deeper, much more compassionate.
What do you mean?
Procrastination is usually about fear, about anxiety, about our brain trying to protect us from something that feels uncomfortable or threatening, even when logically we know it's not actually dangerous.
But organizing files isn't dangerous. It's not scary.
Not to your logical mind, but to the emotional part of your brain, the part that's just trying to keep you safe and comfortable. It might feel uncomfortable. Maybe it feels overwhelming. Maybe starting means confronting how disorganized things have become. Maybe it feels like opening a door to chaos. Or maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe it just feels hard, and your brain would rather do something easy and immediately rewarding instead.
So I'm avoiding discomfort.
We all are, Henry. That's what procrastination usually is, a protection mechanism. Your brain saying, this feels uncomfortable, so let's do something else, something that feels safer, easier, more immediately pleasant. It's not about being lazy, it's about being human.
But how do I stop doing it? How do I get past this protection?
Gently, with understanding, by working with your brain instead of fighting against it. Let me share some stories with you about people who struggled with procrastination and what they learned. Story 1. The writer who couldn't write. There was a writer named Anna. Anna loved writing. It was her passion, her dream. But every time she sat down to work on her novel, she would freeze. She'd open her laptop, stare at the blank page, and then suddenly she'd remember she needed to do laundry, or answer emails, or clean the kitchen.
That sounds exactly like me.
Anna felt the same frustration you do. She'd think, why can't I just write? I love writing. I want to write. So why am I avoiding it? And she kept beating herself up about it, calling herself lazy, undisciplined, a failure.
What changed?
She started asking herself a different question. Instead of, why am I so lazy? She asked, what am I afraid of? And when she sat with that question quietly, honestly, the answer came. She was afraid the writing wouldn't be good enough, afraid she'd pour her heart onto the page and it would be disappointing, mediocre, proof that she wasn't the writer she hoped to be.
So procrastination was protecting her from that fear.
Exactly. As long as she didn't write, she couldn't fail. As long as the novel stayed unwritten, it could stay perfect in her imagination. Her procrastination was her brain's way of keeping her safe from potential disappointment.
But that meant she never wrote at all.
Yes, she was trading the possibility of failure for the certainty of nothing. And once she understood that, once she saw her procrastination with compassion instead of judgment, she could work with it. She told herself, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay if the writing isn't perfect. I'm going to write anyway, just for 10 minutes, just to practice being brave.
Just 10 minutes?
Just 10 minutes, because 10 minutes felt manageable, less scary, and most days once she started, she'd keep going. But even when she didn't, even when she only wrote for 10 minutes, she was practicing starting, practicing being uncomfortable, and slowly the procrastination loosened its grip. Word explanation: procrastinate. Let's talk about this word, Henry. Procrastinate. Do you know what it really means?
It means putting things off, delaying, not doing what you're supposed to.
Yes, the word comes from Latin, pro meaning forward, and crastinus meaning of tomorrow. So to procrastinate literally means to put something forward to tomorrow, to push it into the future instead of doing it now. And we all do it. Every single human being procrastinates sometimes.
But why? Why do we keep choosing tomorrow instead of today?
Because today feels hard, and tomorrow feels easier. Because future us seems more capable, more ready, more energized. We think, tomorrow me will want to do this. Tomorrow me will feel motivated. But when tomorrow comes, we're still just us, and the task still feels hard, so we push it forward again. Story 2. The Student and the Essay. Let me tell you about a student named James. James had an essay due. He had 3 weeks to write it, plenty of time. But every day he'd think, I'll start tomorrow. I work better under pressure anyway. I still have time.
I've told myself that exact thing.
We all have. And James kept putting it off, day after day, until suddenly it was the night before the deadline and he hadn't started. He stayed up all night, stressed and exhausted, rushing through the essay. And when he submitted it, he felt terrible, not just about the essay, but about himself.
Let me guess, he did the same thing with the next essay?
He did, because the cycle had reinforced itself. He'd learned that he could wait until the last minute and still get it done. His brain learned, see, we don't need to start early. We can handle the pressure. We always manage somehow. Even though the experience was miserable, it had worked. So why change?
So what broke the cycle?
His professor had a conversation with him. Not a lecture, not a scolding, just a gentle question. James, what happens when you think about starting the essay early? And James realized he felt anxious. Starting early meant the essay would be sitting there, unfinished, for weeks, judging him, waiting for him. It felt like this huge, looming pressure.
So waiting until the last minute was actually reducing his anxiety?
Yes, in the short term, yes. It was avoiding the discomfort of living with an unfinished task, but in the long term, it created so much more stress. Once James understood this, he tried something different. He broke the essay into tiny pieces. Day 1, choose a topic. Day 2, write 1 paragraph. Day 3, find 2 sources. Each piece was so small it didn't create that looming pressure. It was just one small, manageable thing.
And that worked?
It took practice, but yes, because he wasn't fighting against his brain anymore. He was working with it, making the task feel less threatening by making it smaller, gentler, more approachable. Word explanation: avoidance. There's another word we need to talk about, Henry: avoidance. To avoid something means to stay away.
Daisy, I'm starting to see something. My procrastination with the file organization, it's not really about the files at all, is it?
What do you think it's about?
I think it's about confronting how disorganized I've let things become, about seeing all the mess I'd been avoiding. It feels like facing evidence of my own, I don't know, carelessness, failure to keep up with things.
Gently. And that feels uncomfortable.
It does. It feels like admitting I've been struggling, like opening a door to something overwhelming. So I avoid it. I procrastinate, not because I'm lazy, but because I'm protecting myself from that uncomfortable feeling.
And now that you understand that,
Now I can be gentle with myself about it. I can say, okay, this feels uncomfortable, but I can do it anyway. I can do it in small pieces. I can do it imperfectly. I can just start with 1 folder, just 1, and that's enough.
that's beautiful, Henry. You're working with yourself instead of against yourself.
What if I still procrastinate sometimes?
Then you procrastinate sometimes, and that's okay. You're human. The goal isn't to never procrastinate. The goal is to understand why you do it and to be kind to yourself about it. To know that it's not a character flaw. It's just your brain trying to keep you safe. And you can thank your brain for trying to protect you, and then gently do the thing anyway.
Dear friend, if you're listening to this and you struggle with procrastination, if you've been beating yourself up for being lazy or undisciplined, please hear this. You are not broken. You are not failing. You're just human.
Procrastination isn't about laziness, it's about protection. It's your brain trying to keep you safe from discomfort, from uncertainty, from fear of failure or judgment or overwhelm.
And once you understand that, once you approach it with compassion instead of criticism, everything changes. You can start asking, what am I avoiding? What feels uncomfortable about this task? And then you can address the real issue.
Maybe you're avoiding because the task feels overwhelming, so break it down. Make it smaller, so small that it doesn't feel threatening anymore.
Maybe you're avoiding because you're afraid of not doing it perfectly. So give yourself permission to be imperfect, to be messy, to make mistakes, to create something terrible just to practice starting.
Maybe you're avoiding because you're tired or stressed or going through a hard time, so be gentle with yourself. Do what you can, even if it's just 5 minutes, even if it's just thinking about starting. That's still progress.
The most important thing is to stop fighting yourself. Stop calling yourself lazy. Stop believing something is wrong with you. There isn't. You're just experiencing a very normal human response to discomfort.
Work with your brain. Make tasks feel less threatening. Start smaller. Be kinder. Celebrate tiny progress. And remember that procrastinating sometimes doesn't make you a failure. It makes you human.
Before we finish, let's talk about one more word: compassion.
Compassion means kindness towards someone who's struggling, understanding, gentleness. And the most important compassion we can practice is self-compassion, being kind to ourselves when we're struggling.
I haven't been very compassionate with myself about procrastination.
Most of us aren't. We're harsh, critical. We call ourselves lazy, weak, undisciplined. But imagine if a friend came to you and said they were struggling with procrastination. Would you call them lazy?
No, I'd be understanding. I'd help them figure out why they were avoiding the task.
Exactly. That's the kindness you deserve to give yourself. That compassion. that understanding, because you're doing the best you can with the resources you have, and that's always enough.
Henry, thank you for being vulnerable today, for sharing your struggle with procrastination, for being willing to look at it with honesty and gentleness.
Thank you for helping me see it differently, Daisy, for showing me that I'm not broken, that there's nothing wrong with me, that I can work with myself instead of against myself.
You're already doing it, Henry. This conversation, this understanding, it's already a shift. I think I'm going to organize one folder tonight. Just one. Not because I'm forcing myself, but because I understand now why I've been avoiding it, and I can be gentle with myself as I do it.
That sounds perfect.
And to you, friend, listening to this, I hope this helped. I hope you feel a little less alone in your procrastination, a little less ashamed. I hope you can start being kinder to yourself, more understanding, more compassionate.
Remember, procrastination is information. It's telling you something. Listen to it. Work with it. And most of all, be gentle with yourself. You're doing beautifully, even when it doesn't feel like it.
We believe in you.
We really do. Take care, dear one. Be soft with yourself.
See you soon.
Until next time, rest gently.